If you're over 60, this one simple mistake in your kitchen could silently be damaging your health every single day without you even realizing it. Doctors across the world are now warning that some of the most common foods we put into our refrigerators, foods we thought we were protecting, are actually losing their nutrients, developing harmful compounds, and in some cases, even increasing the risk of chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and weakened immunity, especially for seniors. Imagine thinking you're keeping your food safe, when in reality, you may be stripping it of the very vitamins and minerals your body desperately needs as you age. And here's the shocking part. Almost 95% of seniors are making at least one of these fridge mistakes right now. That means 9 out of 10 households could be harming their own health simply by putting the wrong foods in the wrong place. Welcome to Senior Secrets TV, where today we're going to expose the 9 foods you should never refrigerate and why each of them can be especially dangerous if you're over 60. But don't worry, we're not here just to scare you. For every harmful mistake, we'll also give you the safer, smarter alternative so that you can keep your food fresh, your body strong, and your mind clear. By the end of this video, you'll not only know which foods to keep far away from the cold, but also how to reclaim the lost nutrients that your body depends on. And I promise you this, once you hear the science and real-life stories, you'll never look at your fridge the same way again. Now let's start with the first giant mistake that so many people make. Tomatoes. Most of us think tossing tomatoes in the fridge will make them last longer, but the truth is the exact opposite. Cold temperatures actually damage the delicate membranes inside tomatoes, causing them to lose their natural flavor, their juicy texture, and most importantly, their powerful antioxidants like lycopene. For seniors, lycopene isn't just a color pigment, it's a proven protector against cardiovascular disease and even cognitive decline. When tomatoes are refrigerated, their lycopene levels drop dramatically, meaning that what you thought was a heart-friendly food is suddenly offering you far less protection. A 2-mighty study found that seniors who consumed higher levels of lycopene had a 30th lower risk of stroke. But if you keep your tomatoes cold, you're not getting that benefit. The best way to store them? Leave them at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, and let them ripen naturally. The richer the color, the more powerful the protection for your heart and brain. The second mistake lurking in your fridge is onions. Many seniors keep onions chilled next to their vegetables, thinking it's harmless. But here's the problem. Refrigeration actually breaks down the natural sugars in onions, making them soft, watery, and far more prone to mold and bacterial growth. Even worse, onions absorb moisture and odors from other foods in the fridge, meaning they're not just losing flavor, they're turning into a breeding ground for hidden toxins. For seniors, this can be especially risky because a weakened immune system has a harder time fighting off even mild bacterial contamination. If you've ever felt bloated or unusually tired after a meal with onions, it might not be the onion itself. It might be the way you stored it. Onions should always be kept in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place, not sealed up in the cold. Pair them with garlic in an open basket, and you'll extend their shelf life naturally without risking your gut health. Speaking of hidden risks, let's talk about potatoes. This one is a serious health trap for seniors. When potatoes are stored in the fridge, the cold environment causes their natural starches to convert into sugars much faster. When those sugars are later cooked, especially at high temperatures like baking or frying, they form harmful compounds such as acrylamide, a known carcinogen. But beyond that, those extra sugars mean one thing: spikes in blood sugar. For seniors living with pre-diabetes, or anyone watching their heart health, refrigerated potatoes are a hidden danger. One of our patients, a retired teacher in her 70s, thought she was being careful by storing potatoes in the fridge to make them last longer. But after a few months, her blood sugar readings began to climb, even though she hadn't changed her diet. When we traced the problem, the culprit was those very potatoes. After switching her storage method, keeping them in a paper bag in a dark pantry, her blood sugar stabilized within weeks. This isn't just theory. This is real life. If you're keeping your potatoes cold, stop immediately. Now, let's look at garlic. Garlic is famous for its immune-boosting properties, its ability to support the heart, and even its role in protecting against infections. But here's the truth most people don't know. Storing garlic in the fridge actually encourages it to sprout prematurely. Those green shoots not only taste bitter, but also mean the garlic's powerful compound allicin is breaking down. Allicin is the very chemical that fights inflammation, supports circulation, and strengthens your immune system. Seniors who lose allicin are losing a major defense against infections, especially during cold and flu season. Worse still, garlic stored in oil in the fridge can actually lead to botulism growth if not handled correctly, a rare but deadly condition. Fresh garlic should be stored at room temperature in a dry, ventilated place. It will last longer, taste better, and actually deliver the medicinal power that has made it a staple in senior health diets worldwide. Bananas are another food that should never go near your fridge. For many seniors, bananas are an easy go-to snack, packed with potassium that supports heart health and prevents muscle cramps. But when you refrigerate bananas, the cold disrupts their ripening enzymes, causing them to turn black on the outside and lose both taste and nutrient quality on the inside. The potassium becomes less bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs less of it. For someone over 60, where potassium deficiency can trigger muscle weakness, fatigue, and even irregular heartbeats, this is a serious concern. If you've been refrigerating bananas because you thought it would slow them from going bad, stop now. Instead, let them ripen naturally at room temperature, and if needed, freeze peeled bananas for smoothies before they over-ripen. That way, you preserve both the nutrients and the taste. Bread is another surprising item many seniors keep in the fridge. It might feel like the logical thing to do to prevent mold, but refrigeration actually accelerates a process called starch retrogradation, which makes bread go stale faster. For seniors who already struggle with digestion, stale bread can feel heavy, cause bloating, and add unnecessary stress to the gut. Not only that, but most seniors benefit from high-fiber, nutrient-rich bread, and refrigeration breaks down the texture that makes whole-grain bread beneficial. If you need bread to last, freeze it in slices and toast it when needed. This protects both the flavor and the health benefits while keeping mold at bay. Honey is one of nature's best natural medicines. Raw honey has antibacterial properties, antioxidants, and enzymes that support immunity and soothe the throat. But when honey is refrigerated, it crystallizes, becomes gritty, and loses some of its natural active compounds. For seniors relying on honey as a natural cough soother or immune booster, this means you're not getting its full healing potential. Store honey in a sealed jar at room temperature. It will last indefinitely without spoiling. Coffee is another silent victim of refrigeration. Whether it's whole beans or ground coffee, storing it in the fridge exposes it to moisture and condensation every time you open the door. This ruins its flavor compounds and breaks down the antioxidants that actually make coffee protective for the brain and heart. Seniors who enjoy their morning cup of coffee for focus and alertness are unknowingly sipping a weaker, less beneficial drink if they've been storing it cold. Keep coffee in an airtight container in a dark place, and you'll not only enjoy better flavor, but also the brain-protecting antioxidants your body needs. Finally, olive oil. For seniors, olive oil is often recommended as the healthiest fat for the heart, reducing inflammation and protecting blood vessels. But here's the trap. Refrigerating olive oil causes it to solidify and, over time, damages its delicate balance of healthy fats. This means the very compound that should be protecting your arteries could be breaking down before you ever consume it. Olive oil should always be stored in a cool, dark place, sealed tightly, away from heat, but never in the fridge. When you put all of this together, the message is clear. Your fridge can either protect your health or quietly harm it. For seniors especially, where every nutrient counts, storage mistakes can make the difference between fatigue and vitality, between weak immunity and strong defenses. But now that you know the truth, you have the power to change it. The good news is, fixing these mistakes doesn't cost money, doesn't take extra effort, and doesn't require special diets. It's as simple as moving a few foods out of the fridge and into the right environment. Think about this. What if your constant fatigue, your stiff joints, or your slow healing wasn't just about aging, but about lost nutrients from the way you store your food? Imagine how much better you could feel if your tomatoes actually protected your heart, your garlic supported your immune system, and your bananas gave you the full power of potassium. These are not small details. They are life-changing shifts. At Senior Secrets TV, our mission is simple: to help you take back control of your health with real science, real stories, and practical tips you can use today. And here's our question for you. Which of these 9 foods have you been keeping in the fridge, and did you notice any change in taste, digestion, or energy after eating them? Share your experience in the comments. We read and reply to everyone with personalized advice, because your story might help another senior avoid a hidden mistake. And remember, health after 60 is not about fear. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing what works for your body now, even if it didn't matter 20 years ago. So stop refrigerating these 9 foods today. Take control of your kitchen and give your body the nourishment it deserves. Because health isn't a luxury, it's your foundation for everything. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Senior Secrets TV, where every secret you learn could add more life to your years and more years to your life. For many seniors, the refrigerator feels like a safe zone. It's where we place our groceries, believing that the cold will preserve freshness, protect against bacteria, and give us more time before food goes bad. After all, that's the message we've been told for decades. When in doubt, refrigerate. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, the very foods that you're not placing inside are being destroyed from within. Their nutrients are breaking down, their medicinal properties are weakening, and their chemical composition is shifting in ways that can silently damage your health. And while younger people may not notice the difference, for seniors whose bodies require every ounce of nutrition to stay resilient, these storage mistakes can magnify the effects of aging, weaken the immune system, and even accelerate chronic conditions. Think about your daily habits. You come back from the grocery store with bags full of vegetables, fruits, bread, and perhaps a bottle of oil. Almost by instinct, you slide open the fridge door and start placing them on shelves. It feels like the responsible thing to do, but science now shows that this autopilot behavior is often sabotaging the very health you're trying to protect. And perhaps the most shocking part is that these mistakes have been studied for years, yet the information rarely makes it to the people who need it most: the elderly. That changes today. When we talk about tomatoes losing lycopene, it may sound like a small issue, but picture this. Lycopene isn't just a nutrient. It's a molecule that travels through your bloodstream, protecting your arteries from oxidative stress. Imagine your arteries as small pipes. Over time, they naturally get rougher inside due to free radicals and inflammation. Lycopene acts like a shield, smoothing those walls and keeping blood flow steady. For someone over 60, when the risk of heart attack or stroke increases, that shield is invaluable. Now imagine removing that shield day after day because you stored your tomatoes incorrectly. It may not harm you tomorrow or next week, but over months and years, it quietly shapes the course of your health. The same goes for potatoes. One senior couple we spoke with had no idea why their daughter, a nurse, kept warning them against storing potatoes in the fridge. They're potatoes. They've always been safe, the husband argued. But what he didn't realize was that every time his wife roasted those refrigerated potatoes, they were unknowingly increasing his exposure to acrylamide, a chemical that doesn't just raise cancer risks but also stresses the nervous system. When we explained the science, they were stunned. They had been doing this for 30 years of unknowingly reducing the safety of one of their most common foods. And the sad part? They believed they were protecting those potatoes. Let's pause for a moment and consider onions again. Seniors often notice that refrigerated onions taste dull, watery, or sometimes even sour, but very few connect this to actual health risks. A damp onion isn't just unpleasant. It becomes a breeding ground for bacteria that your immune system has to fight off. And while a younger person might shrug off mild digestive upset, for a 70-year-old, one bout of food poisoning could mean days of weakness, dehydration, or even hospitalization. Something as ordinary as a refrigerated onion can tip the balance of your health. Then there's garlic, the so-called miracle food of longevity. Across the Mediterranean, in Asia, in traditional medicine systems worldwide, garlic has been celebrated as a protector of life. Studies even show seniors who consume raw or gently cooked garlic regularly have lower rates of certain cancers and heart disease. Yet in the West, people refrigerate it, let it sprout, and unknowingly lose those benefits. I once met an 82-year-old grandmother who swore by garlic tea for her colds. But when she showed us her garlic bulbs, they were sprouted, bitter, and sitting in a chilly fridge drawer. She was disappointed to learn that her ritual had been weakened by storage, but once she switched to fresh, room-temperature garlic, she claimed her teas worked better than ever. Whether it was placebo or real Allison power, her energy returned, and that's what mattered. Bananas are another underestimated example. Potassium is one of the most important electrolytes for seniors. It balances blood pressure, keeps muscles from cramping, and protects against arrhythmia. Yet in refrigerated bananas, potassium absorption is compromised. The peel turns black, and though the fruit looks edible, its nutrient density falls. A retired mechanic told us he had been suffering from nightly leg cramps. His doctor recommended bananas, but he kept them cold, thinking it preserved them. Weeks later, no change. Once he was advised to keep them outside the fridge and eat them ripe, his cramps eased within 10 days. Sometimes the smallest adjustments produce the biggest relief. Bread, too, carries hidden consequences. Seniors with dentures or sensitive digestion often prefer soft, moist bread. But refrigerated bread hardens quickly, losing both texture and digestibility. Worse still, stale bread can increase fermentation in the gut, leading to bloating, discomfort, and poor sleep. When we advised one senior care facility to freeze bread in small portions rather than refrigerate it, residents reported better digestion, fewer complaints of stomach upset, and more enjoyment at mealtimes. It's not about luxury, it's about dignity and quality of life. And what about honey? For generations, honey has been used as medicine, a natural antibiotic, a throat soother, a wound healer. Seniors often rely on it as a gentle remedy for coughs when pharmaceutical syrups are too harsh. But refrigerating honey reduces its enzyme activity and causes crystallization. A senior who dips into hardened honey may feel discouraged and give up on it, missing out on its healing properties. But leave honey at room temperature, and it remains liquid, golden, and alive with enzymes. Coffee, the morning ritual, deserves special mention. Seniors often find that caffeine affects them differently with age. Too much can cause jitters or disrupt sleep, but moderate amounts support alertness, focus, and even memory. However, when coffee is stored in the fridge, it absorbs moisture and odors, making it taste flat. More importantly, the antioxidants in coffee degrade, weakening its protective effects on the brain. For seniors worried about cognitive decline, this is a missed opportunity. A simple switch, airtight storage in a cool, dark cabinet, preserves both taste and benefits. And finally, olive oil, liquid gold for heart health. The Mediterranean diet, famous for its life-extending properties, is built around olive oil, yet many unknowingly refrigerate it, causing it to solidify and lose its delicate structure. A senior couple in Florida once confessed that their olive oil always looked cloudy, so they thought something was wrong with the brand. It wasn't the oil, it was the fridge. Once they stored it properly, they rediscovered its golden clarity and rich taste. For their hearts, that meant restored access to one of nature's best protectors. So the lesson here is not just about food, it's about awareness. Every bite you take as a senior can either protect your future or quietly weaken it. By making small, informed adjustments in the way you store food, you can reclaim nutrients, enhance flavor, and safeguard your health. Imagine your kitchen as a pharmacy. Every item on your shelf, either medicine or poison, depending on how you treat it. For decades, we've trusted cold storage blindly. Now it's time to use wisdom. At the end of the day, it's not about fear, it's about wisdom. Seniors have lived long enough to know that the smallest habits can create the biggest changes. Storing food may feel like a simple act, but as you've seen, the fridge is not always your friend. Those 9 foods, tomatoes, potatoes, onions, garlic, bananas, bread, honey, coffee, and olive oil, each carry unique properties that protect your heart, your brain, your immunity, and your energy. Yet when treated incorrectly, they lose their power and in some cases even become harmful. Think of it this way: you would never water a plant with chemicals that destroy its roots. So why allow storage habits to weaken your body's foundation? Choosing where and how you keep these foods is like choosing the medicine your body receives every single day. For many seniors, these changes are surprisingly easy. Place your tomatoes in a basket on the counter. Let your potatoes rest in a cool, dark drawer. Keep onions dry and ventilated, and store garlic at room temperature so it stays alive with healing allicin. Enjoy bananas naturally ripened on your kitchen shelf. Freeze bread instead of refrigerating it. Let honey sit proudly in the pantry. Keep coffee sealed in a cool, dark cabinet, and treat olive oil like liquid gold stored safely away from the cold. These small, mindful choices restore flavor, maximize nutrition, and protect you from long-term risks. More importantly, they give you back a sense of control. Seniors often feel like aging is a process of losing choices. Losing mobility, losing independence, losing energy. But here is proof that you still have power. By mastering the details of daily life, you're not only extending your health span, but also improving your quality of life in ways your future self will thank you for. So let this be a reminder. Your kitchen is your pharmacy, and every decision inside it shapes your tomorrow. The refrigerator is a powerful tool, but it's not meant for everything. As doctors warn, storing the wrong foods inside can quietly undo the benefits you've worked so hard to gain. Now that you know the truth, you can act differently. You can protect your health, keep your body strong, and continue living with energy and independence. And if you found value in this message, make sure to subscribe to Senior Secrets TV right now. Because every week, we bring you more science-backed tips, longevity secrets, and practical advice to help you stay stronger, sharper, and healthier as the years go by. Don't miss out. The next video may contain the one tip that changes your life.